I never imagined that I would work this hard my whole life and be in my 50s and be having to start over. That house was my nest egg. You thought this was where you're going to retire, and now you can't afford to rebuild, but where do you go? This has been your community for multiple generations.
Palisades Fire and the Eaton Fire have combined for 38,600 acres in Los Angeles County. Wildfires have killed at least 24 people in the greater Los Angeles area, destroying entire communities and more than 12,300 structures.
I feel like I did all the right things. Like, I had the insurance, paid the premiums, I got the most I could get. I've learned that I didn't have nearly enough coverage, so now I don't know what I'm going to do.
Thousands of homeowners lost their homes in the LA wildfires, and a lot of them are now already finding out that the insurance policies they had been paying for years aren't going to cover the cost of rebuilding. This is an entirely new type of housing crisis for the state of California. Homeowners who lost their homes, moved out of state, now have to rent their homes, or even worse, are still living in trailers. And that's a phenomenon you can observe in almost every community that's been affected by wildfires in the past several years, including Grizzly Flats.
We move out here for the beauty. We move out here to raise family. There's not a whole lot of places left that you can really feel that sense of community, and that's what Grizzly was. It was our dream home. We would have kids over at the house constantly after school.
Happy birthday to you. Go for it. Please go.
We'd all be sitting around just enjoying life and laughing. All of that changed. Our dreams were wiped off the face of the earth in one night. I watched Grizzly Flats burn. We lost our home on Tuesday morning at 2 a.m. It was like losing another person in the family. That home was our sanctuary. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't prepared for what I saw.
This is all that's left.
And that haunts me every day.
The Calder Fire is one of the most destructive fires in California history. It burned hundreds of thousands of acres from Grizzly Flats all the way north to South Lake Tahoe. And in Grizzly Flats, 2/3 of the community was destroyed.
We were under the impression that we were fully insured. They said, you can't get any better than this. I didn't have any concerns. It was about 6 months after the fire that we really realized that insurance wasn't going to come through. And the amount that we did receive was barely going to cover what we had already spent being a disaster survivor, being homeless you know, having our lives totally ripped out from underneath us overnight. I really wish we could go back 3 years ago. It's not the same.
Unbeknownst to a lot of homeowners, when you sign up for a home insurance policy, your insurance company gives you a number called a replacement cost estimate. But what a lot of these homeowners aren't being told is that these replacement cost estimates are being run through a series of algorithms. The biggest one of them is this one called 360 value. There's a number of problems with the way that these algorithms work and the way that they're being used. Both the data that's being put into the algorithms and the way that some insurance agents are using them causes these algorithms to put out estimates that are far, far too low.
So this is the estimated replacement cost that 360 Value has generated for our homeowner in Oakland. This is what we've seen time and time again with these estimating tools. 360 Value, whenever we put in an address in California, especially in a place like the Bay Area or Southern California, the replacement cost is simply far too low to construct a new home in Oakland today. Insurance companies know that these tools don't work. They know their own data shows that these tools aren't working. And not only have they continued to use the tools, they haven't even informed homeowners that this is a problem.
Well, when we moved up here, the sign said, have a bit of heaven. This was my heaven.
This was our safe haven. I had PTSD from my experience in Vietnam. My mental therapist, she suggested that, you need to get away, find some place where you're going to feel safe and comfortable.
The Salazars did everything right. They followed every piece of advice that people give when they talk about trying to avoid being underinsured. They had 2 insurance policies from the California Fair Plan and from Farmers Insurance, and every year they paid a little bit of extra premium for something called extended replacement cost, which is supposed to be there to give you extra money just in case your original insurance policy isn't enough.
Gonna give me a kiss, damasitas?
The Salazars learned after the wildfire burned that the maximum amount their insurance policy would pay them was still hundreds of thousands of dollars less than what it was going to take to rebuild their home.
We are not knowledgeable in insurance or how policies should work. We put our confidence and faith in what the insurance agent told us, and we agreed and we signed, and that was it.
When the Salazars learned that their insurance wasn't going to be enough to rebuild their home, they paid off their land and decided to buy a manufactured home.
My wife says that our granddaughter put a spark in my life. I really enjoy raising her. Prior to the fire, Anaya was taking Taekwondo. She was doing horseback riding and she's doing gymnastics. After the fire, she lost all interest. She developed migraine headaches. She's been on medication for migraine headaches for the last 3 years now since the fire. We want stability for Anaya, and we want her to have a sense of security and knowing that eventually we'll have her own home.
Grizzly Flats is a very sad story. They did not get a federal disaster declaration. The impacted households couldn't get FEMA aid. The cavalry didn't come for them like it does for some other communities.
Would you like extra bread? Okay.
You see the result. The community is not really coming back the way a lot of people would want it to, or everyone mostly would want it to. We as consumers rely on the knowledge that the insurance company has about what it's going to cost to put our asset back if it gets destroyed. Nobody knowingly underinsures their biggest asset if they are presented with accurate information and they have a choice.
Physically, it hurts me every day. I can barely walk. I thought my building days were over, but I don't have a choice because of my income. I can't afford to pay a contractor or to even pay companies to come in and help me. It's really put a stress on my body. I have to basically do everything myself.
Troy and Janet Gruber weren't able to get insurance from the private market before the Calder fire, so instead they were on the California FAIR plan. After the fire, like a lot of insured people in Grizzly Flats, they learned that the amount of money they were going to get from the FAIR plan wasn't going to cover the cost it would take to hire a contractor to rebuild their house. So even though Troy Gruber had been on disability for years, he decided to take it upon himself to rebuild his home by hand to try to cut down on costs.
Our problem right now is we have a house that's half built. We have a trailer that we're living in. I can't get insurance on that half built house yet, and I can't get insurance on my trailer.
The injury was examined at a local hospital, and the doctors concluded what seems impossible.
And so if something happens to us, now we're on the street. We have nowhere to go. I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. It's a horrible thing. That threw a big old huge blow at our entire family. I don't even know if I'm going to be here to see our house finished. I pray every day for him because he works his ass off for me. You know, our kids are grown and out of the house. It's ridiculous. It makes me ill. Just to look at him. I never used to take meds like this until after the fire. And then stress kills. Just, it's a silent killer. Absolutely.
These events are going to become more often and bigger everywhere. We've got to figure out smarter ways to prepare, and we've got to figure out better ways to rebuild and to prevent, and I'm not seeing that right now.
We see the same phenomenon over and over. Unless the law changes, it's going to go on forever.
This isn't just a problem in Grizzly Flats. It's becoming an enormous problem in Los Angeles, and it's going to become a problem in any community impacted by wildfires, in California or anywhere else in the nation. That means that there's millions of homeowners out there who are underinsured and have no idea, but could learn very quickly if they're impacted by a wildfire.
I do believe this is a housing crisis. Because look at how many communities have been destroyed. And that's the biggest thing that just breaks my heart, is how many families up there who worked their entire life to provide this living environment for their family, and for what? For ashes now. We have moonscapes, burnt trees. Many of those people will probably live in trailers the rest of their lives. And a lot of those trailers are now sitting where those big, beautiful homes once stood.